Welcome back, everyone. This is A for the Spiritual Bazaar, and you're listening to an anonymous audio cast by someone on the road to recovery while exploring spiritual paths. Today, I wanted to talk about my experience with quitting smoking. This was really rough. Holy crap, was this rough. Look, I was pretty fresh out of rehab, I guess about a month. And I tried to quit smoking. Probably not the best suggestion for anybody who's dealing with early recovery, just because psychologically it puts such a strain on you and you're already dealing with so much. So for whatever reason, if you're a smoker and you're in early sobriety, just be cautious about it, especially about making a lot of changes quick. It can cause sort of an upheaval and in your mind and make a bumpy road even bumpier. But I had a number of reasons why I wanted to. It was also affecting people around me. And, you know, in the heart of it, I wanted to quit because I didn't feel good about myself as a smoker. And it actually was bringing my energy down. I had started picking up cigarettes again before my relapse. So I hadn't been, smoking for a long time before I quit, at least this time around. But I was chain smoking for sure. It becomes like a crutch. And for me, smoking was sort of a meditation in a way. I know it sounds kind of odd, but I think other smokers out there would understand that. Just those few minutes that you step aside and you're smoking that cigarette, every time you're taking an inhalation, it's like you're taking a breath and you're sort of, okay, all right, I can deal with this next thought, or I can deal with whatever else is coming down the pipeline, or whatever situation I'm dealing with now. I can handle it one smoke at a time. And clearly that's not the healthier option. There are other ways to deal with problems. But it somehow helped to keep me a little more grounded. And it did sort of slow me down in a way that forced me to be a little more mindful. I don't know exactly how this works, but it does. So that's what makes this smoking so psychologically addictive, because you can actually construct a mental state that feels stable around actually smoking. This may sound odd to non-smokers, but if you think about it like this, some people go to a doctor and get a prescription because of issues they're having psychologically or physiologically. And it's kind of like a self-subscription. And, it's every time you start to get an urge and you have a smoke, you're getting this a relief, a sense of relief every time. So this is happening all day long. So in your mind, it's like, oh, yeah, I feel better. And so you're getting that sensation constantly all day long. Whereas when you're not smoking, you don't have an easy way to get that sensation multiple times all day long. So all of a sudden, when you quit, your mind is screaming for some relief, because one, now you've just put yourself through this physical withdrawal, which is absolute hell the first 3 days. The first week is extremely rough. But then after that, if you can get through the physical withdrawal, the psychological withdrawal is a long withdrawal. And that's the hardest part. I think there are a number of people, if they can get through the first 3-4 days of the worst of the withdrawal, they still go back and don't make it, because technically your body may not have the nicotine in your system, but it's still craving it. The cravings may not be as bad, but they're still there. let's say you go 2 weeks in the future. By then, your body should not be craving anything at all, but it is, because there's that mind-body connection. So as soon as your mind thinks, oh, now's the time that I'm supposed to have a cigarette, it sends a signal to the rest of your body. So it's not your nerves sending the signal to your brain now saying you've got to smoke. It's your brain sending the signals to your nerve that it's time to smoke. And so the battle goes for a long time, and this is why smoking is extraordinarily addictive. So I think it was much more difficult for me this time quitting. I originally quit over a decade ago after being a chain smoker for years, and while that was painful, this was quite more so, and I think it's because I did it so early in my recovery. I wanted something to act as a sort of a crutch, and that's what the cigarette did for me. So I gave up smoking. This is about 2 months ago, and I did slip up, and I did smoke. But fortunately, it was just a little bit, and it wasn't a slip right back into chain smoking again. But after that, it just prolonged another week or 2 weeks after that of thinking to myself, well, maybe I can just have one here or one there, and that's going to be your downfall, or at least it's been my downfall. I sneak in one here or there, and next thing I know, it's it'll be 1 a week, and then 2 a week, and then 3 a week, and then I'm back to smoking again. The year and a half leading up to my relapse, I was constantly doing that, and I was so ashamed of it. I was hiding it from people, and it was just kind of sad and pathetic, because I didn't want to face my own issues. And I think that was a reflection of my struggle with addiction, with all my other substances, and the fact that I wasn't dealing with my problems. Anyway, so what does it feel like to go through withdrawal? It's like someone is turning your body inside out, so that your nerves are exposed, almost. So not like pain, like you're getting cut, or pain like a toothache, but like a very subtle, not insistent exposure to the elements that you shouldn't be feeling. It doesn't feel right. It feels backwards, and everything feels wrong, and you can't focus. Your brain just becomes an absolute fog. You become extraordinarily irritable, of course. That's a behavioral aspect. But the physical, I don't know what it would be like to have my body stretched out in all directions, but it's kind of like that. What you want to do is just kind of curl up into a ball and not face the world and not do anything. Much like any other hardcore drug addiction, when you're going through that withdrawal, you want to withdraw literally from the world. Talking to people is not fun. You don't even want to talk to another human being. What would be the best analogy? All right, so if you could take glue and stick glue between the epidermis of your body and the inside and your muscles, and so your skin is lined with glue, and maybe that glue even seeps in between the fibers of your muscles, and when you want to move, it's like you can't. It's like your body is glued. It's solidifying, or like you're made of drying mud. It's extraordinarily uncomfortable and awkward. And from the outside looking in, someone, you can try and keep a straight face, and so someone really doesn't see what's going on. They don't you can say, oh, I'm quitting smoking, it's rough, but they have no idea what's going on inside your body. So that's kind of what it feels like. And there's no reason why anyone should put themselves through that torture unless they're absolutely ready to quit, unless they absolutely have resolved before quitting that they're going to do this. I have no recommendations on how to quit, whether it be patch or taking a pill or cutting back. I think cutting back might be helpful in the sense that you get used to lower levels of nicotine. If you can get used to lower levels of nicotine per day for a while, I think your withdrawal will probably be a little bit easier, rather than just quitting cold turkey after smoking a pack or 2 packs a day. And then once you get through that initial pain and withdrawal, again, like I said, the psychology is actually almost more challenging because, well, it is more challenging because it lasts longer, and you get this fatigue. So you could have quit for 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, and you're still getting cravings every day. And that's what is going to take you out again, because you get a fatigue from fighting it off day after day after day. You just get tired. Just leave me alone. I don't want these urges anymore. Just get the hell away from me. And yet, and you can get better at handling it, and it gets better little by little. But even though it gets better by little, it's still there over a period of time. And 3 months into it, there's days where I think, man, I really want to smoke. I just, I'll just go have one smoke. That's it. It'll just make me feel a little bit better. I can get through the rest of this hard work day or whatever it is. And that's usually when I get the cravings for the most part, is when I'm at work. Because it's easier to give in when you're fatigued, when you're tired of fighting it off mentally. You're just like, why am I doing this? Why do I keep resisting? Just have one, just let go and have one. That's all. Yeah, that's what it feels like. And this little voice in your head is like, come on, man. And you get this sort of like, I want to describe it like an itch, but it's not really an itch. It's like a tingling, tiny microscopic pins and needle tingling through your skin and through your nerves. And it's like almost like ants crawling through you, and it's telling you smoke. It's actually a physical feeling that you still get, even after months of quitting smoking, or weeks. So, point is, it's freaking hell. It really is. It's like a form of self-torture. I mean, how often do you willingly torture yourself? And how prolonged do you do that for? Weeks, months? So it's when you're going through even though smoking itself we know is extraordinarily dangerous and harmful for your health. That in itself is kind of insane, right? That we do it anyway. But when you're going through the experience of it feels like you're torturing yourself, and who does that for the most part? I mean, some of us, yes, we have self-inflicted pain. Not me, but others have done that, and that's a whole separate issue. What I'm talking about is just, on your everyday experience. If you're at work, you're by not smoking, it feels like every single second, every single minute, you are self-inflicting pain, which seems asinine and insane. So of course your brain is more able to contrive a convincing story to get you to smoke again. And that's the tricky part. So what do I do to get through that? Actually, I use one of the most important things and one of the more difficult things to develop, actually, in recovery. And I'd not done it well before, and I'm doing it much better now. But it's to think through, to really think through it. So I have to go through the process of, okay, I can smoke. It's going to make me feel better for this moment. But then in a half an hour later, I'm going to probably crave another one. And then I'm going to want to have another one. And then next thing I know, I'm going to be smoking again. And why do I want to stop smoking? Because one, I want to feel better about myself, my self-esteem. I want my health, most importantly, than anything else. And do I want to get a cancer or a disease? No. And am I going to piss off people in my life that care about me? Yes. Okay, so the question is, do I really need it, or can I make it through? And the answer generally is yeah, I can make it through. And if I have to say, just get through the next 5 minutes, get through the next 10 minutes, I'll do it, and it works. Didn't always work. It hasn't always worked, but it's worked consistently now for a couple of months. I would love to hear your experiences about smoking. Was it as painful for you as it was for me? I mean, it was really self-torture. And I was really angry that anybody wanted me to quit, especially quit when I did. I mean, I was just pissed. And but I did it, and I did it for the right reasons, and I'm glad I made it this far. But it's still a struggle. Most days, yeah, I'm okay, I'm fine. I get through the day, I'm healthy. But and I'll walk down the street and I'll have the smell of cigarette from someone in front of me, and I'll be totally disgusted and turn off by it. 2 minutes later, I'm turned on by it. It's this weird dichotomy of desire and disdain. So that's my experience with smoking cigarettes and quitting. Beyond that, I think it has affected my recovery in the fact that I have been, I think, less stable emotionally and in my ability to focus because I quit smoking so soon after recovery. And that right there will take me back out again, that thinking that I'm not ready yet, and let me just keep smoking until I can stabilize myself within my recovery, so I'm in a really good place emotionally and mentally. And I'm in a pretty good place, but I'm not in a great place yet. And I think I have to just look at this like, okay, this is a new challenge. I have to just find, just like I did before, new ways of navigating early recovery. And I started to slack off a little bit with the daily prayer, but then that lasted probably about a week and a half, and then I've been really consistent with it again. And my brain is still in the slightest little bit of a fog from being a non-smoker now. But I think that too is dissipated enough that I'm able to regain my focus on sobriety in a more direct way. Whereas before, when I was going through the process of quitting the first month and a half, it was really, my brain just was meandering, and I couldn't really hold on to a routine. And I do need a routine for part of my recovery. It's extraordinarily important to have a sense of structure. And in a weird way, that's what smoking actually helped me with, because I would wake up in the morning, the first thing I'd do is go out, smoke a cigarette, and it was quiet outside. I might see the occasional person, say hello, but most importantly, it was really quiet. There's some trees outside of our building, and it was like an immediate meditation, morning meditation for me, and it helped me to feel more grounded starting my day like that. So since I stopped smoking, I don't go outside like that. It's not a routine. Because when I was smoking, it was like I had to, but because I had to, I reaped the benefit of the the mental grounding. So that's, I think, a pretty good example to explain the rest of the day, as I'd mentioned before, and how smoking was a part of my recovery in an odd way. I mean, just like some people, if they can, they eat a lot of sugar or cookies to get through early recovery, something to sort of replace the use of drugs, or particularly alcohol, because it's so rich in sugars. And there is some sort of correlation between alcohol intake and sugar and how it affects the brain. Anyway, so that's where I am. And I'm starting to feel a little bit better now. The cloud is lifting, and I can get back to my recovery, which I've felt good about for the past week. I've been pretty good with my routine again. Now I need to add some new routines to replace the habit of smoking, because I haven't been getting up and going outside and having a little quiet time in the morning to myself to sort of center my soul. So now I have to actually convince myself to try and start my day like that, and that's really hard, especially getting up out of bed in the morning. That's really hard for me, because I will get up and I will do my morning prayer, but that little bit extra of going outside, maybe going for a jog or something, I just haven't gotten there yet. I would love to. I'm trying to get my brain to get to that place, but in time. Otherwise, I am extremely grateful to be alive, and I'm extremely grateful for those who support my health and my well-being, and who encourage me to stop smoking. But again, just as a fair warning, if you're going through a lot, tragedy, trauma, early recovery, extraordinary amounts of stress because of work, I'd be really cautious about smoking, about quitting smoking. I did it, yes. I didn't do it perfectly, and it makes my early recovery process a longer process. However, if that's okay with you, if you think you can do that, then for the sake of your health, go right ahead, Cheers. But, yeah, just a fair warning. It is hell. All right. That's it for the Spiritual Bazaar. This is A. You can contact me at Spiritual Bizarre, B-I-Z-Z-A, Spiritual Bizarre, B-I-Z-A-R-R-E at AOL.com. And let me know what your feedback is with quitting smoking, and maybe particularly quitting smoking in early recovery, or how it has affected your recovery, whether it's early recovery or late recovery, or recovered, or whatever you want to call it. I think that the more non-smokers hear about what it's like to go through that withdrawal, I think that we'd get a little bit more compassion, or empathy might be the better word. Yeah, it's our fault. We did it. We started smoking. We have to take responsibility for that. But I think if those that don't know what that's like have a variety of descriptions, then I think we get a little more empathy. Anyway, okay, that's it. I'm done. Peace and love to you all, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Spiritual Bazaar, or on Twitter at Spiritual Bazaar with no E, or on Facebook Spiritual Bazaar. And please subscribe and review this podcast on iTunes or wherever else you are listening to it. All right, be well, everyone.
повністю